So I've been watching Chapel Trap House quite a bit, and they had a great episode with Daniel Bessner. Talking about Omicron. As we know, COVID's still going on, still mutating. Not sure what strain we're dealing with right now, but it's not going away anytime soon. And they got talking about what if Trump handled COVID properly? What could he have done in a legitimate manner to handle this? And they gave him, we're just talking about scenarios. They gave him, if he started working on it back in January, what if he did this, that, and the other? And they talked about how there isn't much that he could have done because of the fact that, it kind of goes against his politics. You understand? Like, a real lockdown means no leaving your homes. Like, a real lockdown, means the government has to step up and has to play a much larger part in people's lives to keep them alive. And that was never going to happen. And he talked about how, because I always get him talking about the mask. People talk about the mask. He making jokes about Biden wearing a mask and he wasn't going to wear one, him taking it off, and that's that optic stuff that I'm trying to move away from. But they made the point that the institutions are so corroded that it wouldn't have been possible to go that far. They wouldn't have stretched that far. They would have broke down. That we can't just blame it on Trump. That Trump's political ideology is really based upon nothing. And it's not based upon a sense of, how can we say this the right way? His political ideology isn't based upon, doing anything. It's all about, short-term goals. That's why you see him talking about he created the vaccine and how they mentioned on the show, they said, he said that this could have been the Spanish flu and that, in essence, that I saved the world. Which we know when COVID first started, he didn't talk like that. And he wasted 2 months. He was being briefed on this long before he came out and told anybody. I think this is important to understand. Even with all the drills, I think England did a drill. The States, we had a drill. Crimson Contagion, we had DHS, we had Dark Winter, October 2001. That was smallpox. We've had other ones that have gone on, and they all warned us about you need ventilators. You need these devices to keep people alive. And the reality of it is, if we're going in a direction where we no longer favor science, no longer favor public health, it really doesn't matter how much money you spend on all this stuff. And that's the point they were trying to make. There's all these different scenarios of how could Trump have handled it better, and the show ER would have done this, and other folks would have done that. It really wouldn't have mattered. If, like I said, if we're not willing to deal with in-depth crises, which to me climate change has a hand in, other things have a hand in, if we're not willing to deal with these crises, and we're just gonna, touch and go like little firefighter efforts, little firefighter actions, instead of dealing with these issues, at their root, then it doesn't matter how many drills you have. Cladex and Event 201, none of that stuff matters. If we're going to go in this direction, I don't believe Trump took it seriously. I think that's his nature. I think saying Trump, what if he handled COVID better, is kind of like saying, would the Nazis have been so bad if they hadn't have done the Holocaust? It doesn't make sense because that's such a core to their beliefs. And the same thing with Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again's, core beliefs are in not having any responsibility to anybody else. And denial of reality. See, it's not a far of a leap to jump from climate denial to this pandemic isn't real, and that the Democrats are doing this just to hurt Trump. It wasn't a far leap. Because once you start, because what you're doing is you're not denying science based off of, facts. You're denying science because it's inconvenient, and you're denying science because it goes against what you want right now. Like you're literally choosing instant gratification in denial of reality. I just feel like I'll leave it there.